Hi guys, my name is Prin, and today instead of doing a gameplay, I will be going through the books that I've read this year because I kind of want to show off that I've been reading a lot. Well, for me it's a lot. It's been 30 books this year. I hit my Goodreads goal, so I'm very proud of that. And I kind of want to go through the books, give my opinion on them, maybe recommend some of them. And yeah, this is my first time doing a tier list, so be patient with me. Um, I'm gonna go in. So these are my recent ones, going to the ones I started in the beginning of the year. And I will be honest, most of these I don't really remember a lot from. Uh, so yeah. So we're gonna start with Queen of Nothing. I just finished this book and it was so good. I was A tier, not S tier, because so this is the last book of the Folk of the Air series. I read both Cruel Prince, as you can see, and also The Wicked King, as you can see there. I really like the series overall, but I feel like the last book, it was really good, but there was some sections that I was like, it was very predictable. It was supposed to be as a shocker, but it was kind of easy to assume that some things won't happen, if that makes sense. I'm trying not to spoil too much. So it was very predictable in some senses, but it was really well made, and I just love the series so much. Then the next book we have is Alchemy of Secrets. I read it basically in one night. So it is this book by Stephanie Garber. I really, really, really love Caraval series and Once Upon a Broken Heart. Those are my favorite series of all time. So I was really excited to read this one. And while I did like it a lot, it wasn't hitting the same as the other books. It was very, I didn't like that it was modern. There was a love triangle, which I did not enjoy. I don't like that kind of stuff. It's not my type of, not my cup of tea. Um, I would give it, it was very captivating, so I would give it a solid B, I think. The next four books are not usually what I read, not the genre. Um, so Goodreads have these challenges or like accomplishments, achievements, if you may, that you can complete. And you pick one of each genre. And I wanted to broaden my reading genres a little bit. So I picked these from each category. The Berry Pickers is about this family. And they go through a lot. And I was feeling a lot throughout this book. I really, really liked it. I might put it actually on A tier. I would put on S, but the problem I had with this book specifically was that the writing, because the writing is it skips from the present time to past time, and it's very hard sometimes to, and also to POV, so it's very hard sometimes to understand who's talking and what, from what time. Um, but it is a really good book. It made me feel a lot of things, and yeah, it made me cry. This a family goes through a lot. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's about growing old, going making mistakes, and just the life of a family. A quite dysfunctional family, but at the same time a very beautiful family. And then we have Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, if I'm right, and it is a autobiography, I think. Um, and I love Gilmore Girls, so I really wanted to read this one, and it was really fun. It was really interesting. I don't usually read this kind of books, as I mentioned before. I would put it on B tier, I think, because I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, it wasn't really my thing. It was really interesting to read about like her way into fame and the things she did and the things she um had to experience, and I like her writing a lot. I think people really enjoy the audiobook, and I think I would too, because it gives a lot more character. But yeah, a B tier, I think, yeah. And then we have Run for the Hills. And this book was amazing. I might actually give it an S tier. It was so good. I had just read this one, which I'm gonna get into in a bit, and going from that book to this one was such a big jump, and I had no idea what this book was about. I just picked it up and I was like, let's read it, whatever. And I was laughing so much. It was so funny. It was so weird. It was so random. It's about these lost siblings, I guess. They find their way to each other and they have this long road trip. And they try to find their dad, basically. And they have not known about each other before that. So it was it was really interesting. It was a really weird and funny journey, basically. Then we have The Bewitching, and I don't really know if I should put it on C or B. Maybe B because I really liked the story. It was really interesting, but it was written in a very heavy way. And I mean, in like, there was a lot of words that I did not understand, and that is like my fault. Like, that's not the book's fault. There were a lot of POVs. I think there were three POVs, and I'm not a big fan of POVs or have multiple POVs. Um, and it was also a lot like three different time. Like there was it was weird. There was one timeline from like a grandma, then it was the present time from like the main character, I suppose, and then a reading. Like she was the main character was reading about this person that was going through something the grandma and her the main character was going through, and it kept like switching and it was kind of hard to keep up, and it was a lot of names and a lot happening. I really loved the story, but the writing made me it was really hard to get through for me personally. It took a while, but it was really good otherwise. Next book is Hidden Pictures, and I really loved it. Honestly, S tier. It was really, really fun. I might even grab the book and show y'all the pictures in the book. It was really spooky. It was really well written. I really like the storyline. It is about a semi-possessed kid and a nanny, so it was very classic horror. Um, really enjoyed it. I read it quite fast, I believe. I even got it as an audiobook to read, well, listen when I cannot read. And the pictures were so amazing and it was so interesting, and the storyline is heartbreaking but yet very good. This is the book, but before I continue, I realized I really want to talk about um Run for the Hills ending. I felt like it was very abrupt and it didn't really, I guess it wasn't supposed to give the closure that you wanted, but because like sometimes things just happen. And same with the Berry Pickers. It was both those endings were very like, oh, oh, it ended. Okay. Because you want more. You want them to like reunite and have like this more. Berry Pickers had more of that than Run for the Hills. Run for the Hills was really just like, oh hi, you're my dad. Okay. And the book just ended. It was good in a way because it shows that not everything is how you imagine it to be. But it was really sad. But back to Hidden Pictures. Um, I just really, really enjoy if you read, you get like these pictures, hand drawn, and they're really, really cool. At first they're very childish, but let me find one that's not with spoilers. I guess this one's fine. And then you get like really advanced paintings or drawings, and it's really, really interesting. Um, yeah, I really love that book. So the next book is They Are, and it is so good. I really, really enjoyed this book. It is very gory, which I obviously enjoy, but it's about these rich people that are trying to buy up this land, and there's these old people that live there their whole lives and they don't want to give it up, and a lot of fighting about the land and whatnot. Some of them take the deal and they leave, and The only person that's left on the land is this old granny, and she is fighting for her life. But then a very unexpected partnership comes along, which made me, it was shocking. I was like, huh, okay, you can be friends with weird creatures, I guess. Um, but I really, really loved it. I loved that it was weird and gory. Really enjoyed it. So I will need to redo these three books because I accidentally spoiled them while talking about them. I didn't realize. I didn't think. So this one is S tier. What Moves the Dead. It's really haunting. It reminds me of the movie Crimson Peak for some reason. I guess the whole like gothic vibe, the whole like chilly, weird kind of vibe, mystery. Um, it really captured me. I think I read it quite fast because of the story. It's about this. I don't know how much I can say, but it's about a fungus, kind of like The Last of Us. But in a more not like a zombie way, but more in unsettling, creepy way. You're more alive than you're dead, if that makes sense. It's really, really good. And then the second book in that trilogy is What Feasts at Night. And that one, I don't know where I put it before, but I'm putting on C now. It was also good, but it was more ghosts and hauntings and that kind of vibe, which I do enjoy. But I feel like it was very different from the first book, which is fine, obviously, but it was not really my cup of tea personally. And the third book is What Stalks the Deep, and that one is A tier. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It had more of the same vibe as the first book, something more supernatural. Well, ghosts are supernatural, but more of like they're actually there in a way. So I really, really enjoyed this book. It takes place in the mines, which is very interesting. If I remember correctly, there are kind of claustrophobic scenes, which is it also always makes you feel something, when you're reading. So yeah, and then we have the hollow places, which is A tier. I would put it in S tier, but I personally had a hard time following the story and understanding and visualizing, especially visualizing the scenes and everything. But that is my own fault. It is about a girl that finds a bunker to like alternate realities basically, and it's just so interesting. I really like the creatures, just as in the other three books before that. Um, I read it quite fast as well, I do believe. It was very capturing. And I even talked to my dad about it. I talked to him about the book and explained some stuff, and he got chills because we really love that kind of storyline of like this like creepy out of world kind of thing. Then we have The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This is a very different book from what I usually read. I was recommended it by a friend. Um it was really good, but I would I I feel like the things talked about are very obvious in my own opinion. So I would put it on C personally. Because I feel like there were a lot of things that were very obvious for me. So when reading it, I just felt like it's a parent or something just yelling at you for something that you already know, and you just think that you don't know. So you just sit there and you're like, yeah, okay. So yeah, personally C. I would even put it on D, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I really liked it because I really feel like some people might benefit from it, but I personally just felt like I was being scolded for something that is not for me to be scolded at by. It was, mm, yeah, C, okay. Then we have The Wicked King, the second book in Folk of the Air series, and I loved it. S tier. Immediately. I really enjoyed the plot twists. I really enjoyed just everything. I cannot say much because it is like a sequel, and I don't really want to say too much. I don't want to spoil, and it's hard to talk about without spoiling. But Jude is just amazing. I just love her so much. There's so much betrayal, which is obviously always so interesting to read about. And this book is really well known for being a betrayal book more than anything. Very well written. Just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Highly recommend the whole series. Then we have First Light Wins, and it's a S tier immediately because it is such a good book. So much deceit and lying and plot twist after plot twist. It made me gasp so many times, and I was so into it. I really, really liked it. If you like secret and mm, undercover stuff, if that makes sense, I really recommend this one. Punk 57 was recommended to me by a friend of mine, and I really it really captured me, the story itself, but there was a lot of smut in it, if I'm gonna be honest. It's a very spicy book, and I'm not much for spicy books. I don't really I like if you have read the Folk of the Air books or Throne of Glass. No, not Throne of Glass. What am I talking about? Once Upon a Broken Heart or Caraval, you know that those books have like love and some spice in it, but it's not the main plot. And that is what I like about those books. This book, basically, every chapter, every second page, there's a scene. And I just feel like it's too much. I'm not really big for those kind of books. But the story was good. You know what, D tier. Yeah. The story was still good, but it was still not like, it didn't make up for the other parts. Where He Can't Find You is the second ever horror book I read, I do believe. And it was really good. It was giving, I don't know where to put it though. It was giving, not Stranger Things maybe, but kind of, these teens are trying to like figure out murders, really horrifying murders, and they have like this suspect, and there is, I do believe, a monster, like a creature even. Just a lot of weirdness, and also very claustrophobic, because they do go into a cave and stuff like that. But it is very good. Actually, A tier. Yeah. My Throat and Open Grave is another A tier. It was the first book I ever read, a horror book. It didn't have as much horror as I wished. If it had, I would put it at S. It had some very deep topics. And it was horror in a realistic kind of way, not in like a, oh, there's a murderer and there's ghosts and creatures and monsters, but more in a, yeah, this is what happens to young girls, and very cultish. It's religion based, but the way they deal with some stuff is giving more cult than religion. So it's very sad, if anything. It made me sit with it for a bit and be like, damn. I want to think that I even shed a tear during that book. I'm not sure though. I cannot remember. It was a long time ago. Throne of Glass. This is very scary to put at C because it's a B or C, because it didn't make me go like, oh my god, I need to read the next book. And honestly, even now, thinking back, I don't remember a lot of it. I remember like a few scenes. I think it is a series that might get better with time, but it didn't capture me the way I thought it would, if I'm going to be completely honest. Then we have the first book in the Folk of the Air series, and it is The Cruel Prince, and that is a straight S tier. It was so good. The first book is so amazing. It really captured me coming into this world of fairy and learning about these different species of like creatures, not even species, but like creatures, and it's just so amazing. I will be honest, my imagination was not good for this book. I went onto TikTok after reading to see just how like people color the scenes and the creatures and the people and everything, and it was very different from what I had in mind. Very different. Um, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. It was amazing. And I do want to read the side stories, I guess, the other novellas, The Stolen Heir, The Lost Sisters, I think, and Prince of something. I don't remember. It was hard to get into it actually because the first page is very modern, and it really put me off. It threw me off so much because I was like, no, I really dislike fantasy in modern worlds. But then I gave it a shot because it was one of the few first books that I bought, and I was like, I really want to read this. And I continued, and I realized that no, there's not a lot of modern stuff in it. There is some, there is, but not, it doesn't overwhelm, you know? How to Solve Your Own Murder is another banger S tier. It is a who did it kind of thing. There's a bunch of people that, so this, I think she's a grandma of the main character, if I remember correctly. She passes away and she brings together a bunch of people uh, to basically solve her murder. Because she was like, yeah, if I die, someone murdered me. Oh, yeah, because she got a reading when she was younger that someone would kill her or betray her, something like that. And her whole life was about solving and figuring out who it was. So, really interesting. Really good book, yeah, and that made me realize that I really loved mystery books and who did it kind of mystery books. Next on the list is Fourth Wing. I think hmm, hard to say. S tier. Um, it has some spice that I feel like is a bit. Every time I read it, it's like, ugh, again. But it's not overwhelming. And I think the storyline and the battles and everything else is more interesting, and that like has more weight to it. It balances out basically. And the dragons, I really, really, really love the dragons. That's my favorite part about this book. I don't relate to the hate that the main character is getting because people really dislike that she's fragile, and while I do understand the whole like opinion of it, I did see her a lot as Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. I feel like in the beginning at least there was a lot of parallels kinda. A parent being very like harsh and having others around you that are so much stronger than you, and then you being this like skinny fragile human that is trying to be cool or like, you know, do good. So it was a lot of like How to Train Your Dragon, and I didn't feel annoyed by the main character, and I'm halfway through Iron Flame and I still don't feel annoyed. I feel like she's a badass and she's getting through in her own way, and I think that's really cool. This book made me want to watch Game of Thrones because I just want to see dragons. But unfortunately, Game of Thrones is just not for me. It's just too much spiciness. It's just too much stuff, and I just want dragons, bro. Like, come on. Ugh, can they make a Fourth Wing adaptation, please? Without the spice, please. And we had Curse of True Love, I believe it's called, the full name. And that is an S tier. It is from the series Once Upon a Broken Heart, and honestly, we can put this one there as well while we're at it, because this whole series, I loved it from start to finish. This is the second book, and this is the third book. I just loved it so much. It is one of my favorite series. It is my number 2 favorite series because the number 1 is Caraval. Both are by Stephanie Garber. Really, really enjoyed the story. It is the best love story ever. It makes me. Oh, I don't know how to explain it. I never know, but every time I see something about the book or think about it, it's like think about an ex. It just hurts so much. But you just want to like feel it. You want to like immerse yourself into it. It's just so like you want to go back to it. It's so good, and I just nothing will top that except Caraval. Then we have the books that I don't really remember. We can take this one, Tokyo Ghoul. Honestly, since I love the anime a lot, and I watched the whole anime multiple times, I tried to get into the manga, and I have stopped for a little bit. I think this is the last manga that I've read. And I have a bit of a hard time getting into it, but it is good, so I would say A tier. And then we have these, the thing with like these kind of books, especially when it's been a long time, they kind of meld together for me. So I see them as a group. So we have The Conference of the Birds and then something that I cannot really read. I will put them on A tier as well. This might actually be S tier because if I remember correctly, this one was a bit better. The story of those books, I really, really loved the movie. I saw it when it came out in theaters. I really enjoyed reading them, and if you like the movie, the books have so much more lore. It can be hard to get into because the characters are very switched in the movies, the ages and the characters and the powers and everything. But the story is just so interesting, and I really want to buy them in physical form and reread them because I enjoyed it so much. It is a long series though, but it has so much more depth into it than the movie, and so much just more of everything. And then these Harry Potter books. So, one thing with Harry Potter books, I tried starting reading them, and I tried twice, and I couldn't get into it at all. I don't know if I was just new to reading, and it was not the book to start with because I couldn't really understand what was happening. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I was like, okay, now we're inside and this is happening, and now we're outside, and now this person turned into that person, and I was like, what? I was so confused. But then I picked it up as audiobooks, and last year I read or listened to the first, I don't know how many books there are, but the first ones, and these are the last ones. And I just know that I really enjoy them. I listened a lot to them while crocheting and stuff. I just know that I really enjoyed them. But I'm gonna put them on A tier, I think. Yeah. I don't feel like it's fair because they all blend together for me, especially when listening. Because it was like I finished listening to one book and I picked up the other one and it just kept going. But I know that I really enjoyed the series a lot, and I'm very excited to rewatch the movies. I haven't watched them in so long. I was just a kid. I don't remember anything. So I'm having a Harry Potter movie marathon very soon. So yeah, these are all my books this year, and I am so happy with most of them. As you can see, most of them are S and A tier. And honestly, most of the other books are just good. They're good. I didn't hate them, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Even Point 57, I didn't hate it. It still had story in it that I kind of enjoyed, and it did capture me. It's just that it was a genre that I didn't really gel with. Next year, I'm thinking either 30 again, or maybe 40. I'm not sure. I wanna get my numbers up, but I really struggled getting 30 this year because I took such a long break in between books. I think in between this one and maybe Hollow Places. Because I read quite a lot, and then I took a long break, like a few months, and then I realized that I was, like, in October, I think, I realized that I was 13 books behind in my goal. And that is not a lot, but I was so overwhelmed. I was like, shit, I need to read a lot. I know that I needed to read at some point one book per week if I wanted to make it. So what I did was pick out shorter books. So like these ones, The Heart, What Moves the Dead, What Stalks the Deep, not this one, What Feasts at Night. I know that these were short, and then the subtle art of not giving a fuck was also short. So I read those to kind of like get through it a little bit and get into reading again, and then it went really well finishing it. So I don't know, I'm scared to do 40 because I know that I will feel so bad if I don't finish, like if I don't complete the challenge. So I don't know if I should do 30 again or 40. Maybe 35. Just increase a little bit. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, most of these are very inspired by Gab Smulders. This whole video is inspired by Gab Smulders because I love watching her review some books. Because she reads a lot of horror books and I really enjoy them myself. And I really want to get into reading more horror. So I can say that this one is inspired by her. This one is inspired by her. This one. This one. I know she read this one, but I think I picked it out myself. But still. So yeah, all those books are inspired from her videos. They're really, really good. But yeah, that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have read any of these books or have any recommendations based on these books, I really appreciate it, and they're very welcome in the comments. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!